We welcome you to our first MicroTech Talk. I'm really excited about this. Something Martha and I have been wanting to do for a long time. But basically, this is designed to bring other departments together with ITS to showcase what we're doing across campus with technology. ITS will be coming in and actually giving you some tech tips to make your life easier. And we plan to have about 2 more after this session. So today and then November 1st, as well as November 8th. Want to see how it goes. Hopefully, if a lot of people like this, we want to keep this going monthly just to keep everybody informed. And so without further ado, we can skip to the next slide. Today, we are going to be looking at, I'm going to kick us off with our model classroom that we have here in ITS as part of our Innovative Learning Environments program. Then we're going to hand it off to Ryan. He's going to take us through the makerspace tech and resources. Abby is going to take us through how to request temporary admin rights for a Trinity-owned computer. We have Erin with us. She's going to talk us through the student accessibility services technology tools. Then we're going to end with Martha on how to avoid phishing. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing so you can see where I'm at, and I'm going to change my camera views. Where I'm at is in our one-on-one-Z. The model classroom is basically put in place so we can get feedback, constant feedback from faculty when they bring a class in to test out the space with the class, and to let us know if our AV design, our AV technology design is working as we keep improving our design. So we have inherited some tables, thank goodness, because it was hard to find. But when a faculty member walks in, they can actually reconfigure this space. It sits up to 25. And that, when I say 25, I mean like on either side of tables. So if you're going for a lecture style, it's going to seat less people. So you really do want to have, like, you could set a U shape. When you come in here, these tables move, and these tables are writable too. So you don't have to keep, these are locked. I should have unlocked the wheels first. But you can move this into like groups or a U shape if that's what you're looking for. These do write, and this whiteboard behind me is a projector-friendly whiteboard. You can write on either side. You can, let's say I wanted to highlight something within a presentation I'm leading. I can circle with the whiteboard or whiteboard markers and things like that. I'm going to actually take you over here next. We have our control panel on the wall, and we also have an interactive display. So the cool thing about this room is if you have a PC, we're still working out the kinks with the Mac, but if you have a PC, you can actually interact with your device through that interactive display and teach. So you don't have to walk back and forth with your laptop. It allows you to not be tethered in the space. And quick, here in a bit, I'm going to show you what the touch panel looks like, but you do have the possibility of using a wired or a wireless component in this room. So say you have a tablet that you want to use and display off of, you could use the wireless component, which we're using Screen Beam. And then that way you could just key in the code. I believe you have to download an app, but you can show your device in the space without having to be locked in to the control panel. Now, I am talking to you from my actual laptop, and I'm using the camera and the microphone in this space. So I'm not having to use the computer that is in this space. So that is one of the things that we really wanted to change. We wanted it to be where a faculty member walks into a classroom and is able to use everything off of their own device. So that is another neat feature in here. So let me go ahead and switch my camera view so you can see what I'm talking about. This is the control panel. And I'm going to try to bring it up as, sorry, I'm going to try to bring it up as close as possible. But another thing as part of this model classroom is we wanted to make the interface very, very, very simple. And so as you can see, there's the wireless and the wired buttons at the top over here. Thank you. You'll see that there's the display controls. And so then everything appears in the middle. You have your source routing, which is the same thing as you see on the left, your volume controls, and then you can control the camera in the space. So it's really nice. And then simply just on and off. But what I really love about this touch panel is that it actually clicks back at you whenever you select something. So you have some type of feedback. I know that was also a pain point from faculty. They didn't know if they were clicking it, if it was doing anything. So I love that you can hear the click and also see that if you're using a component that it gets darker with the maroon. So those are some features that we really made sure to put into this model classroom. And then over to the left, I wanted to give you a closer view. If my other camera was working, I could walk up to it, but I am so sorry. Well, you can go as far as that. So there is the, this is the interactive display. It comes with a pen. And so then that way you can actually interact. I actually have a Mac device, so I'm not able to control this screen, but you can, with the pen or with your finger, you can control your device through this interactive display. Okay, I think I covered everything in this model classroom. If you are, thank you. If you are a faculty member or if you're a staff and you teach a class, we would like you to come down and try out the classroom because we need as much feedback as possible. So that way, when we start to deploy this design out across campus to classrooms that need refresh, we know what you're looking for. We want to hear what pain points faculty go through. So please, please, please reach out to me if you want to try out this model classroom.
Hi, I'm Ryan. I help manage the CSI Makerspace. And for those that don't know, we're in CSI room 285 is kind of the primary makerspace. And we've kind of branched out into 281 and 283. And we're trying to overtake 280 at the moment. Our rooms are kind of packed with fancy machines. We have so many now. And we have a community that will show you how to use them safely. Is kind of the goal. Accessing the space, we're open to everybody on campus. That includes like family and friends too. We're pretty laid back about that. I'm here and I keep the space open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And we have bonus hours. We have 7 student workers at the moment that if you check our posted calendar, you can see what hours they have the space open outside of the 8 to 4. Walk-ins are always welcome, or you can schedule appointments. And most of our machines require training. So you'll have to communicate with myself or the student workers so we can show you how to use the machine. Support. We can do individual or full-on class training support as long as it's coordinated ahead of time. At the moment, we're supporting, I think it's 4 engineering classes, and a couple of, a teaching class and a writing class. And we also run workshops throughout the year. I think we've had 6 or 7 workshops and gatherings this semester, and we have a few more coming up. We have a Discord page where students can receive help. They post issues and receive help from each other online. And we're starting to build out a Canvas page. And all the project tutorials we've developed over the years for class support, we make them available to anybody that wants to dive into a more substantial project. Contacts, myself, Mark Carpenter in the electronics shop. We also have Josh King, who's our instrumentation technician that also comes in the evenings at times. And we have our 7 student workers. I think I have 8 up there at the moment. One of them is on study abroad at the moment. I didn't put their full names, but they're around. We have so many machines that I thought I would just cover one process, and that's our lasering, our laser machines. We have 3 laser machines, and they have 2 kind of functions inside the machine. They can vector cut, so we can cut materials. We can cut wood, acrylic, rubbers, organic fabrics, cardboards, and we can engrave, which is like etching an image onto material. So we can engrave the same materials, plus we can also, with a specialized coating, we can engrave metals too. So just a quick rundown of the 3 machines. Our 2 main ones are the Fusion Edge and the Rayjet R500, aka Big Bertha. That machine can cut really large projects, 3 foot by 4 foot, and it's really well suited for cutting. So it can engrave, so it can engrave images, but it's very slow, and it's got a kind of a wide laser beam, so the resolution's not quite as good. And then we have our Fusion Edge, and it makes incredibly good engravings. It just has a little bit smaller bed, so the limitations on that are 1 foot by 2 foot. And the Fusion Edge, we have a rotary attachment, so we can engrave on round objects. So tumblers or glassware are lots of fun. It's pretty easy to set up. The last machine we have is our Glowforge Pro, is like our very first laser. And we mainly use this to cut paper products. So off to the right, there's images of an open source origami site that we use to download and put templates in. Pretty fun, but that machine is slower, less power, so we just end up kind of using it less. I thought I'd walk through the workflow of one of our more common approaches to using a laser. So at the recent DR Sums grand opening, we had a bunch of box parts that people could put together, and they were created using the open source boxes.py site. And it's a library of all kinds of box types that you can click on the library item that you like, and then input the size, the material thickness, and then export a DXF file, which is a vector file that we can then bring into Adobe Illustrator, which we'll use to print to the machine. So once we're in Illustrator, we just have to make a few quick changes. We input the file, and then we change the vector profile lines to the color that the laser will see. So it's going to be a red color and a very small thickness of 0.001. And then we can add text or images. So we can input photographs, or you can use the Snippy tool to drop images into onto the parts that you're going to do. And the machine will automatically recognize and engrave those and not try and cut those. And then it's just a basic print function. So we file print and it sends it directly to the machine. Off to the right, you can see like the most common use that students use, like for electronics projects. This is a very fast way for them to create a three-dimensional structure that they can incorporate their electronics components into. So at the machine, it's we load the material into the bed. We focus the lens so that we have proper focus and it'll cut through the material. And then we have to establish a start point and define material settings so that the laser intensity and speed will cut through the given material. And then we do a final print function, and it will just it will do the engrave first, and then it'll cut out the parts. And I'm leaving with an array of all the different things that students have come up with to make in the space. So it can do so much more than just the basic box. And I think that's it. Yeah. Y'all have any questions?
I do have a question.
Yeah.
So what if someone in this call or any like faculty, student, staff that are not or don't have access or don't know this exists, how would they go about contacting you and getting started on a project?
Yeah, so you can walk in and talk to me or a student worker, and we'll get you going, or you can email me and schedule an appointment. Both are more than adequate.
And what about materials? Or is there any like limitations on the materials it can work with? Do you have materials available for people to try?
Yeah, so we have a bunch of scraps from old projects that anyone's free to use and try. There are limitations on this particular machine, so there are materials that are unsafe. More so for the machine than us, but anything that's chlorine based will off gas chlorine gas. So PVCs, like there's fabrics and various plastics. We have a very good exhaust system, so it's more that it corrodes the metal components inside the machine than us. And then if the project's large, if it's beyond the scraps that we have, then we ask students to just like bring their own material.
All right. Well, thank you, Ryan. That was awesome. Thank you.
Sure.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to Abby.
Hello.
Hi, Abby.
I'm going to share my screen out so that I can kind of go through this documentation. So basically what I'm going to talk about is how on a Mac you can elevate yourself to administrator, which means you can download software, you can change the time. Basically you have access to all of the system settings that you wouldn't typically have access to. It's limited, it's 30 minutes at a time, and then you only have 9 like elevations a month for in a calendar period. So, you know, October 1st to October 31st, you have 9 elevations, right? So I just kind of wanted to go through the documentation that I created because there are sort of like some stipulations to this. So for example, if your login screen doesn't look like this, where it asks for your email and your network password, then you don't have the ability to elevate. Which I will, and so like if you have the old login screen, so this is the one where it just asks for like your username and your password, and it doesn't look anything like this, that just means that you're not using the right kind of configuration on your Mac, which is not like a bad thing. It just means that you have probably not been given a new laptop within the last year at least. So however, if your login screen is the traditional or the old style, then it won't work, as I said. If you want to be able to temporarily elevate to an administrator account on your Mac, you can send us an email. All we need is your serial number and then just indicate that you want Jamf Connect, because even if you don't have it right now, it doesn't mean we cannot put it on there. So you can have a laptop that's, a Mac that's, I don't know, 3, 4 years old, and we can change the way that you sign in, which would give you the ability to elevate to admin. So once you log in through that window, that's your login screen. It really is pretty straightforward. On the top right of your screen, there's this little black icon that's called the Jamf Connect icon. So you would just click on that and this would pop up. It would say request admin privileges, and then it really is like that simple. Once you click on that, you sign in again just to verify you are who you say you are. And then it'll be your full email address and your network password again. And then you will have to authenticate with Duo. So it'll push it to your phone. And then once you do that, then you'll be moved on to step 4, which is it asks for a reason. I'll explain in a little bit why. But the most commonly used reason is I need to install software, so I just put it in there. And then I also have other, so you have to choose one or the other, and then you can enter your reason there. And that's pretty much it as far as like the I don't know, like the beginning steps. So once you're elevated to administrator, you'll see a 30-minute timer in the upper right-hand corner, like this right here. It just indicates, as I said, that you have 30 minutes of elevated access. So 30 minutes to change the time, download a program, etc. But again, you have 9 elevations per month. If you on that step receive an error that states time tampering error, I have a fix for it. It's just something that needs to be scoped out to your device. So all I have here is just email IT support with your serial number and then just indicate the time tampering error so I can resolve it. And usually once I receive that, it's resolved within, 10, 15 minutes, if that. Another way to know that you've been elevated is that it will say here on this pop-up near where your timer is. It'll say you are now an administrator for the next 30 minutes. And yeah, so once that runs out, you'll know that you're not anymore. And I learned today actually that if you reboot your computer, your admin elevation continues. So if you reboot it with 30 minutes and it takes 5 minutes, well, then you still have 25 minutes left when you log in. I did put some guidelines here because these are kind of like commonly like mentioned topics. So the time limit, it's there because all actions performed during this period may be subject to review. Usage monitoring, any changes made while in an elevated state can be monitored and logged for auditing purposes. I wrote a script that if for some reason we need to audit a computer, which typically we don't unless there is a reason to, the script tells me everything that you've done while in an elevated state. Again, but that's not that you would know if I was doing it, so it's not something that we can like secretly do to like be weird or whatever. So then compliance requirements, requests for elevated access must comply with institutional policies, and misuse of privileges could result in disciplinary action. So like don't, I don't know, download things that you're not supposed to or anything like that. If you accidentally download a virus, hopefully the Mac would catch it, but if not, that wouldn't really count here because you're not intentionally, I mean, unless you are intentionally installing a virus, which I don't think so. But yeah, so I just wanted to put that in there so that everybody knows that they have to comply with whatever rules we have in place. Access justification, this is back in that step where it asks you why you need admin. If the justification provided is found insufficient or inappropriate during an audit access privileges may be revoked or restricted in the future. So it's important to put like what you actually need it for rather than like what I would do is just type a bunch of random letters and press OK. You don't want to do that. You want to put the actual reason why you need it because, again, that's part of the auditing process. We would need to see that if you're being audited. So elevated access requests might trigger a security review to ensure compliance with cybersecurity protocols. I just have that in there in case anybody needs or like, again, it's just being inappropriate. We just have the ability to, ensure that you're being compliant with our protocols. And then the last little guideline up in here is a 30-minute time limit for elevated access is in place for security reasons. Limiting the duration of administrative privileges helps reduce the risk of unauthorized changes or actions that could compromise the system. This ensures that users only have the necessary access for a short controlled period, minimizing potential vulnerabilities while still allowing you to complete your tasks. If more time is needed, you can always request additional access. So if your 30 minutes run out, you can request it again 9 times a month. And so this was actually decided by the Security Governance Committee. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the process for elevating to admin on a Mac. Just to touch on the Windows side real quick, it is not yet this simple. With the Windows side, you would just send an email to IT support at Trinity.edu and just say you need admin access, and then we actually get back to you with a code that you need in order to do that. So we're working on a solution for the Windows side, but we don't have one in place that's as simple as this. Does anybody have any questions?
This is awesome. Where does this live, Abby?
It's
Are-
actually in the knowledge base. Yes, it's in technology.trinity.edu. I think you can just search for like administrator, maybe. It'll come up within the keywords at least. But yeah, I put it in our external knowledge base so everybody has access.
Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to Erin. She's going to talk us through some SAS technology tools.
Okay. I was just saying, my name's Erin Bennett. I'm with Student Accessibility Services, and I'm going to talk about OrbitNote today. And I specifically chose that one because we actually have 2 different platforms, OrbitNote and Read and Write, that we have institutional licenses for. So that means that anybody at Trinity, whether you're staff, faculty, or student, you can access OrbitNote or Read and Write. And it has a lot of great features. So it's really helpful for our students that have disabilities, but it's also helpful for really anyone. So I will share my screen and show you all that it has to offer. Okay, so OrbitNote is a PDF reader and editor software, and it allows students to interact with documents in an accessible and collaborative way. So it's great for professors because if you want to, like if you have PDFs that you're trying to upload to Canvas or give to your students and they're not accessible, this does have an OCR scanner. So you can upload your PDF to here and it will give you the option to do the OCR scanner to make it accessible. But then there's also a number of features that you can use yourself. And then for students, it gives the ability for them to manipulate these documents in any way that they may need. So for some of our students that have disabilities, they may need to increase the size of the text. They may need the text read to them. They may need some of the words defined for them. There's a whole lot of things that would be helpful. And this does a lot of that. So this, and I can share in the chat too at the end of this, a link that gives more information on OrbitNote, but also the other programs that we have institutional licenses for, and how to get access to them. But they are Chrome add-ons, so you can go to the Chrome store and search OrbitNote, and then you're just going to be logging in with your Trinity credentials. So easy as that. And then so once you're logged in, it's going to be this screen. And you can upload a PDF by clicking here. And I'll just do a sample one for now. And I'll show you not all of the features, but just some of the main ones that I think are most helpful. Okay, so with this document, one of the best features, or one of the ones that is most widely used by our students, is the ability for it to read the article or the PDF to you.
Abstract.
And I don't have it going, so hold on.
Abstract objective. To examine baseline neurocognitive functioning among adolescent athletes on the autism spectrum.
So it can read like the whole line for you, but if a student also, like maybe they didn't know how to pronounce a certain word, they can also just have it read that word aloud so that they can hear it aloud.
Neurocognitive. August.
Oh, sorry. The other thing that it'll do, oh my gosh, sorry, is there's a dictionary feature. So if a student didn't know what a certain word meant, they can highlight that word and they can do the dictionary feature. Oh my gosh, I swear I practiced this so often earlier. Okay, let's do a learning one. Okay, so learning, it's going to give you all the definitions of that. It'll also give you a picture dictionary as well, to kind of better describe the word. So if that's more helpful to a student to see like a picture description, it will give that to you. It will also do a translation of the word into different languages. And then this particular feature is really helpful as well. It does like a masking feature. So this is helpful for a lot of our students that have a reading disability, maybe dyslexia, or maybe ADHD, where they're getting distracted by the length of the article or the amount of words. So it dims all the other words around it, and you can change the settings on this so that the masking is darker or lighter or more blurred. You can also make it so that the masking is smaller or bigger. So there's a lot of customization that you can do, but you basically just drag your mouse down as you're reading to keep up with where you want it to be. So super helpful for a lot of our students. And again, not just for students with disabilities, but anyone that this is helpful for reading. And then you just click off of it to end it. One of my favorite features of Orbit Note is the highlighting feature. So students can highlight in a bunch of different colors, but I'll show you real quick something cool that it does. Okay, so you can highlight your whole article, you can do it in different colors, but then you can do this button, which is collect highlights, and it will actually pull all of the highlights into a Word document and have it all listed there for the student. And it will also link the article at the bottom. So if they're trying to do a research paper, and they're looking at a bunch of different sources, they can easily highlight that whole article, do the collect highlights, and then have all of their notes and have it connected to where they got it from. So they're not going to lose whatever that source was. Also, if they are maybe writing a paper where they're doing like 2 different arguments, they can highlight some supporting information in one color and then the other supporting information in another color, and then do the collect highlights, and it's going to separate it out. So they have like their 2 different supporting argument, supporting facts there for them. So that is a really cool feature, and I'll show you real quick. I don't know if it's gonna let me show you, but we'll see. Okay, is it sharing just the regular screen, or is it showing you the new screen?
I'm seeing the doc, the Google Doc.
Okay, the new doc. Okay, yeah. So it pulls out the color and then it has the article linked on here. So it's pretty cool. All right. And then if for some reason they want to get rid of the highlights, they can use the little broom feature here and they can delete them. And then they also have the option of doing shapes. So if something was like particularly distracting, for instance, to a student, like maybe this, they could put a shape over it. They can delete it afterwards with the eraser. They can do text within the article. So if they want to be taking notes right in the PDF, they can do that. But they can also do a voice text as well. So maybe if they're reading along and then they either think of like a question or an idea or something they want to put in a paper, they can do a voice comment that they put within the text or at the spot where they figured it out. They can input images, and then they can also input math, which this is a new feature. I have not gotten to play around with this piece yet. Some of these are also more helpful, like if there was maybe a graphic organizer that they're inputting into Orbit Note, or like math equations, and they want to be able to electronically solve those. They'd be able to use like the math portion, or if it's the graphic organizer, they may more so use like the insert image feature and the text option. So basically, this is a great way for them to just be interacting with the documents that they're getting from their professors, and then they have the option to like make it bigger, smaller. Once they highlight everything and put all their notes on there, they can also print it. So they can print it out with the highlights on there. They can also download it to their computer. They can upload it into the cloud, all of that good stuff. And then I'm pretty sure I said this at the beginning, but if there's a document that's not accessible, it has the OCR scanner, so it'll make it accessible for you. And I can do a quick example of that too. Go back really quick to my dashboard. So I had a professor that sent me, this was like their handwritten notes, and they were wondering if it was accessible because they had some students in their class that were registered with us. And off the bat, it's not accessible. But with their access to Orbit Note, they can do the scan text here, and it'll scan it for them, and then it's going to become accessible. And they are going to have all those same options that they would have with the regular PDF, where they can go in, they can have it be read to them, they can highlight, they can put images in here, they can do the math problems. So it's pretty cool. Any questions for me?
Hey, Erin, that really is cool. How accurate is it at reading handwriting like that?
It's kind of hit or miss. So like this one, let's see how well it did.
Calculus.
Yeah, it struggles a little.
Is the mathematical framework to model continuous processes and physics and engineering, for example, mechanics, acoustics, thermodynamics.
I don't know. I think that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it's pretty good. Like it gets a little bit, I'm not even sure why it struggles up here because it's pretty straightforward, but yeah, for the most part, it seems to do well. Adobe too, like that has a great OCR scanner, but it's still gonna have you like individually fix certain things, so it can be time consuming. So this is like definitely like a faster way to do it. And it's fairly accurate. Like it's very, very accurate for articles, even like older PDF scans that like come in as images. It's pretty good on those. But yeah, with the handwriting, it's a little spotty. Any other questions?
So
And then
if someone wanted to get access or anything, how do they reach out to you, or how do
they can, yep, they can definitely reach out to us, and then I will put the link to, so we have like little pages with information on these. So I'll actually put it in the chat if you all want to explore that and like bookmark it and stuff. We're still like, we're trying to promote it because we do have the institutional licenses and we want everyone to know, but it's definitely been difficult to figure out how to promote it. So yes, spread the word and we'll send it out, and I'll send it to y'all in the chat.
This is awesome. I'm like, my husband has dyslexia, and when he was going to college, it was so rough on him because he had to read the notes, or he would have to read a PDF, and he would end up using, luckily he had a Mac and they would just read to him. But oh my gosh, if he had access to this, he would have been in heaven, because yeah, the struggle is real.
Yeah. The other thing students can do too, like say in class they were given like a PDF to take home, or like they want to take a picture of like a page in their book or a couple pages, like they're supposed to read 10 pages and they want to take pictures of it. They can upload those pictures into here and it'll do the OCR scan and it'll read that to them. So that's like a quick way for them to basically have like an ebook portion of whatever book or PDF they're trying to read.
Awesome. I do see a question that came through the chat.
Oh,
I really like this and would like to use it. Can it be saved in Google Drive without losing all the highlighted features or notes? And Google Docs do not have these features.
yes, yeah, so you can, let me move the bar here so I can see the bottom. Yeah, so it'll give you the option here. You can print it out and it'll print it out with all the highlights, text, images, whatever you add to it. And then you can also download it to your computer or you can upload it into your drive.
Awesome.
And then read and write, I'll just tell you real quick, but that'll be in the link that I send to. So that's the other institutional license that we have. That one will read any website to you. So you can just, any website that you're on, you go to, I don't know, like CNN or anything, you just have that. It's like a Chrome add-on, a little bar will pop up at the top of the website. You click where you want to start, you hit play and it'll read whatever to you. So that one's pretty cool too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You're just going to need to come back for another talk.
I know.
These are
Lots of
cool.
stuff. Mhm.
All right. Well, thank you so much. This was amazing. I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to Martha to talk about how to avoid phishing.
So today I'm going to show you how to avoid phishing. So what is phishing? So phishing is just ways criminals use to try to like get people to click on links. The end goal is to get people's information. That could be like personal address, financial information like credit cards, access to email. So for work emails, for example, at Trinity, they would love to get access to your email and password. So then that way they can access all the applications that you have. Especially this becomes important, kind of what Abby was talking about how we limit admin access. And this goes hand in hand with this. So if somebody gets access to your account and you have admin rights on your computer, then they get, super access to everything at Trinity, which is something we don't want. Ways people or criminals try to access information could be through email. They're doing text now. They're doing direct messages on social media. Most of us often see people posting on Facebook, don't click on anything, my account has been compromised. This happens often. Now they're also using phone calls. With the use of AI is expanding, so we just have to be more careful when interacting in all of these media. So top red flags, I'm going to talk specifically about email addresses because it's one of the most targeted areas here at Trinity. So top red flags are when you get an email, there will be a suspicious sender email. Like for example, they say they're a Trinity staff member, but the email ends at gmail.com or it ends at Trinity 2 or trinityuniversity.edu instead of like at trinity.edu. They use very generic greetings. They're sending these messages like en masse. So this very generic greetings. They use hyperlinks that don't match the text that they're sending you to. They have urgent requests. Then the attachments don't really match the description. So in Gmail, if you open an email and you click on the vertical ellipses, it will show you the show original. You click on there and it's going to give you a window. So I'm going to show you an example. So this is an email that was sent from the Trinity Today. So if you click on it and it says Trinity Today, but you open it and the actual address is not at trinity.edu, but it's like at trinity.com, then that means it's from a suspicious sender and it's not actually from Trinity. So whenever you get a suspicious email, you can always check this to make sure that the sender is who they say they are. So a generic greeting, this is going to be like a dear valued customer or like dear Netflix member or any generic greeting is not going to have your name. So then the hyperlinks that don't match the text, so you can hover over any hyperlink in your email and they'll show you at the bottom of the left screen. So for example, here, the TU Day, I hover over the newsletter and it actually tells me that it's from Trinity.us. So it shows me more details. If this doesn't match the link that you're clicking, that's a red flag. So it has urgent requests. So you'll see this often where we are at a school, so they would say like the IT department has suspended your account and you need to verify it. And they take you to a screen that looks very similar to a Trinity screen. And it says, enter your email and password to verify your account. We would never do that. They use these pages, you enter your information, now they have access to your account. So it's a fake page, and now you've given them access to everything. Attachments that don't match the description. So for example, if it's an attachment that it's a PDF and it does not have .pdf, it has a different extension, then that means it's a fraud attachment and it's not what it said it's supposed to be. So what is ITS doing to prepare Trinity for phishing? So we do a annual mandatory cybersecurity training for everyone. This is a 30-minute training. Faculty and staff have to complete it. Recently, we launched a 15-minute training for students as well. These trainings show the red flags. It gives you examples of ways these criminals try to access your account. And then it gives you a quiz to ensure that you're aware you're retaining that information so you're prepared in case somebody is trying to scam you through your email. Other stuff that we do, we are big in Cybersecurity Awareness Month. So we do tablings, we do weekly quizzes. They're really fun, and you get a $50, you could get a $50 gift card. We do town halls. This year we did a panel discussion. We host natural hour and milk and cookies. Other activities throughout the year, we do phishing tips in our newsletter. Our phishing tips are based on what's happening during that period. So for example, during the holidays, we'll give little tips on how to be aware of people trying to steal your credit cards, or how like they could be getting into your Amazon accounts, things like that. But we also do phishing simulations. So every month, every once in a while, we put out phishing simulations, and they are like a phishing email. So they do have these red flags on it. Once somebody clicks on it or falls for one of these phishing simulations, you will receive like a quick training on what was the phishing red flag. And this is done to make sure that everyone is aware of what it is here. We're not just trying to be mean. We're trying to make sure people are prepared and know what to look out for in actual phishing emails. So how are these activities that we're doing actually helping? I know they sound tedious and they sound mean and bad, but so we've seen an improvement just from last year to this year. The industry average is a 4.9 on Phish Prone. We went from 17% down to our lowest 3.1 for up to 5.1. But we made a huge increase on lowering the risk of the university, which is something that we could not do with all the community, and ensuring that they are being aware. So thank you to everyone who's been doing all these things for us and being able to track this. And then, so what do you do if you encounter a suspicious email? Just delete it. Forwarding an email, a phishing email, is just spreading the risks to everybody else. We do not require for you to forward it to ITS. We don't need to be notified. If you think it's suspicious, just delete it, throw it away. However, if you accidentally clicked on a link or fall for a phishing scam and downloaded something to your computer, disconnect from the internet as soon as you can, and then contact us by phone, which will be the fastest way, at 210-999-7409. And then if anybody has any questions about this.
All right, well, so just some ending remarks before we close out this first micro tech talk. Let me go ahead and I'm going to share my desktop. Hopefully it's not too chaotic for you. I was saving some of these links for us. But next Friday is our next micro tech talk. It's going to be from 1:30 to 2:30. It's just because of the faculty assembly that's going to be going on at 2:30. So here are the topics. for that. Michelle Burns actually with us here today, but she's going to be talking about Qualtrics. We also have Tim O'Sullivan, who's going to be looking at the managing Canvas course on a tablet. Martha's going to join us again to talk about the technology solutions forum. We have Luis, who's going to be talking about remote support. What does that look like at Trinity? And then we also have Kevin that's going to be looking at Canvas and cross-listing courses and extension requests, which is something that we get a lot of. And just to take us out, want to add to the discussion, if you want to be part of a MicroTech Talk and share something that you use with faculty, staff, or students, feel free to contact us. But also, please, please, please spread the word on MicroTech Talks. You don't necessarily have to participate. You can just come join and listen to what all the awesome things that we're doing across campus. So again, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to the presenters. Thank you so much for taking the time to come and be part of this. We really appreciate you. And yeah, thank you.